Hi everybody, this is Caroline Sotheby and welcome to Up, Down, and Around Town. All right, it's almost the end of January already, and did you put your Christmas things away? Some people didn't. Last week, before we ended our program, we gave you a clip, and before we go to our guest, let's review that one, okay?
Open Book Theater is a intimate professional theater right here in the heart of Trenton. We do contemporary plays that make you feel and make you think and laugh and maybe cry. You're never more than 4 feet from the action. And it's just a wonderful place to come and experience a story told live right in front of your eyes. Stories are the way that we connect to each other, right? We tell stories to get to know each other. We listen to the stories of other people's lives. And so to me, theater is the most alive way of telling a story because it is actors right in front of you, living and breathing. The audience is a part of it. Their reactions are just as important as what's happening on stage. Open Book is close to home. It is professional entertainment right down the street, right where you live and work and play. There's wonderful restaurants nearby. We are a night out without a long drive. You can see high quality, professional, fascinating plays right here in your neighborhood. It is the cost of a movie ticket with some popcorn and soda, and you can come and see live theater.
Open Book Theater, and welcome, Krista.
Thank you.
You had such a equipped inventory, basically, of programs. How come we never knew of you before? This is...
I don't know. That makes me sad. Unfortunately, I feel we're kind of Downriver's best kept secret, but I don't want us to be a secret. We're trying to get the word out that this gem of a theater exists. We're in Trenton, and we're in our 10th season. We've been producing theater for 10 years. We did 2 seasons in Southgate, and then we got this building in Trenton and remodeled it into a small black box theater. We've been there since the fall of 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
What part of Southgate were you in?
We were on Dix Toledo in a place called Penelope's Venue, is what it was called at the time, a little bit north of North Line.
Okay. So how did y'all get together as a group and manage to get a building on your own? That takes an investment, too.
Well, it does. It does take an investment. Unfortunately, we had a lot of wonderful supporters who, helped us do that. And it's been an adventure to get that. But having our own space has been really wonderful. We have the thing that I had always dreamed of, which is it's a black box theater, and it's literally a black box, and we can arrange it any way we want for any show. We seat maximum. The most people we can fit in there is 88. Okay. But that's more chairs than we own. So usually we fit somewhere between 60 and 70, and we can set it up so that the audience is all the way around the action or 3/4, and we tear down the set and rebuild it every single time. So it's different every time. One of my favorite things is to hear the audience as they walk into the space and how they respond to the world we've created for the show.
One thing I gotta ask, do you have your regular theatrical plays where you have to pay a lump sum in order to have copyright information? Yes, you do?
Yes. So we do a 5-show main stage season. Almost all of those are shows that have been previously produced, and so what we do is we pay for the rights, and you pay per performance for the rights to put that show on, and that's important because the playwright then is getting paid for the work that they have done, and we have to apply for those rights, and sometimes we get the rights to the shows we want to do, and sometimes we don't, and we have to come back a few years later and go, can we have them now? And
that would take a little doing because would they only allow a certain amount to be put out in one season, or what?
Some of it is a little bit of a mystery of when they give you rights to things. Sometimes it's about if somebody else in the area is doing it, you don't want to have too many people in the area doing the same show because that's going to hurt ticket sales. That's going to hurt us as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes playwrights very much, if it's a new show, they want it to be seen in certain markets before it goes other places.
A lot of considerations.
Yeah.
So that's how you can go into your other productions where it becomes yours.
That's
right?
true. Yeah, thank you. So we did, during COVID, we, as every theater across the country, had to close our doors because we could not gather indoors. And once we realized that was going to be a long time, we started looking at other ways to do theater. And one of those is something we call driveway theater. And it was such a hit that we have continued doing it. So every summer we put on 30-minute plays, and they are exactly what they sound like. Driveway theater. We will come to your driveway, to your parking lot, to your park, to your, we've done them down here, along the riverfront. And people come and they bring their lawn chairs, and we put on a 30-minute show right outside, no microphones, no fancy set. It's often a couple of boxes and a couple of props and 2 actors, and all of those are written by local playwrights. We commission those and we pay the playwrights for that, and we come right to you. And that is such a fun way to get theater out of the walls of our space and out into the community.
Well, how often do you do that? Just more or less summertime?
Yep, so we usually run June through August.
Okay.
And depending on the summer, we'll do anywhere from 30 to 45 performances out in the community.
No kidding.
Yep.
Oh, you're going to have to keep us informed because, like you said, you're a group that's sort of been kept in the quiet, for a while. And you have an awful lot to offer.
I think so. I'm really proud of the work that we do. We focus on contemporary plays, and they connect people. I want a play that makes me feel. I want it to make me laugh, to make me cry, to make me gasp. I want a play that draws me in. And to me, theater is the best way to do that in the world, because you're there with a whole group of other people watching, and so you're having that experience together, and that is such an important part. We need community. I think we learned that, really learned that during the shutdown, when we had to find ways. We were all longing to get back together, and so to be able to bring people together in a room and have that time together is such a gift.
Now you were just telling me a little while ago your latest. How about that one?
Sure. So we're doing a play. It's called Every Brilliant Thing, and it's a one-man show. And the premise of the show is that as a child, he started making a list of every brilliant thing, everything that makes life worth living. And the chairs, we've never done this before, the chairs are in a circle on the floor.
Okay.
He speaks directly to the audience. He might bring an audience member up to, very briefly, it's very easy to be one of the, to be the vet that puts his dog to sleep, sadly. But also, as the audience comes in, they're given these slips of paper that have a number and then something on it. And then during the course of the play, as he talks about the things that he adds to the list, he'll call out a number. And if you have that number, then you say that out loud. Like 23 is Black Panther, for instance. I happen to remember that. 24 is spaghetti with meatballs. And so if he says that and you have that number, you just call it out from where you're sitting. And it brings everybody together in a way that just sitting back and watching a show doesn't always do. And I mean, I love that too. I will go to a show and sit and watch, but this is a very different experience, and it's really unique. We opened this past weekend, and we had several people tell us that, they were a little nervous. They weren't sure how this was going to feel. Mm-hmm. The reason the character starts writing the list, he does it when he's 7, when his mother attempts suicide. And so he wants to help her see what's worth living for. And so a lot of people are sort of nervous about that subject. But it's a hopeful play. It's a play about community. It's a play about gratitude. It's a play about appreciating the gifts that we have. And people come out just smiling and grateful for the experience and sharing their stories. The performer comes out afterwards and will talk with the audience, and so many people came up to him and shared their own experiences with, you know, people in their lives who maybe have attempted suicide or had mental health issues, but also just the experience of gratitude and what that has done to help them.
Yeah.
And actually, he and I were just talking last night about what a privilege it is. People wouldn't share that story with a stranger, but they've come and they've sat for an hour and a half in a room where everybody has had this experience together. And so they're able to sort of be vulnerable and share those things. And it's such a gift that we create a space where that can happen.
Well, that's very unique. Like I had mentioned, it's almost like therapy. You're going there to see somebody else's feelings and try to get an idea of where they're coming from. Then all of a sudden you're sitting there and it's like, wow, yeah.
Well, and that catharsis. I mean, the Greeks, this is why they did theater. It's why we all do theater in stories, right? Because somebody else shows us that emotion and helps us feel that in ourselves. We all have movies we go to watch, right? When we want to cry or we want to laugh or that's catharsis. And that's what art can provide for us is a release for those emotions. And I believe that stories are how we get to know each other, right? If I take you out to coffee, you're going to tell me stories about your life, and I'm going to tell you stories about my life, and that's how we're going to get to know each other. And that's what theater does, is it gets us to know each other as humans. In even a fictional story, we can see ourselves in that fictional story and learn something about somebody else and learn something about ourselves. You know, a lot of times I'm watching a story and I think, wow, that's very similar to something that happened in my life, and I responded differently, or I responded the same way, or you learn something about yourself through the story.
Okay. You know, it seems funny because I just mentioned to Neil today, I went for an oil change, and of course you're sitting in that area, you know, and a woman came in, and within 15 minutes, I think I heard I knew her whole story.
Yes.
I knew where her kids live and all the grandkids. And it's funny because basically that's a performance.
Yeah.
To your point. It was her way of, hey, I'm finally out and I'm talking to somebody, and you know, but
and she had a need to connect with you, and you were a willing audience. Hopefully you were. Sometimes people share things we don't always want to know, but you know, that's how you connect with somebody.
Yeah. Okay, now how long is this performance going to be on?
This performance runs another 3 weekends, so we close on, that would be February 11th, Sunday, February 11th. So we have shows Friday and Saturdays at 8 and Sundays at 2. And then we do have one Thursday performance, which would be let me count back, the 8th, Thursday, February 8th, I think that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how you get tickets?
You can get tickets on our website.
Oh, yeah?
Which is openbooktheatercompany.net. I know we showed it earlier. Theater is with an R-E. If you Google us, you will find us as well. And actually today, we just launched a brand new website. I'm very excited. That video you saw earlier is now on our front page, and we have just revamped our website to make it much more easier friendly. So
we got to give Rich credit then. Hey, he's been
Yes, Rich is over here on I don't know, cameras or whatever camera this is, put that together for us. So thank you. It's beautiful.
Well, you know what? He's been going like crazy ever since. Well, we both, during the COVID time, actually went out on the streets, so to speak, and did up, down, around town. And so when we finally got back into the system where everybody was able to, you know, be together and that, what should I do? Can I help you? And I said, well, he likes this. And so he went to prose and poetry, right? And he went to, you know, the other groups. Yeah. And those two areas alone keep him busy. So that's when he said, hey, I got somebody. And I said, all right, let's put you on.
I love talking about it. Like I said, I feel like we're the best kept secret that shouldn't be a secret. I want everybody to know about Open Book Theater and come and see what we have to offer. And I think a community needs art and culture, and it's a way for us to connect with each other and with ourselves, and it's an important part of a thriving community. And Downriver is thriving. We've got so much great stuff going on.
Oh, yeah.
As you know that.
Oh, yeah.
You get all the inside scoop.
How did you actually start? I mean, you told me about you went to college, all right?
Sure,
so
yeah.
my
My degree is in theater. I went to Northwestern University outside of Chicago. I grew up in Michigan, but then went away to school and got married and sort of moved all over the country. And my ex-husband and I moved back downriver, because this is where his family's from, and was doing a lot of theater and sort of thought it would be nice to work on shows where every show I'm excited about, where every person I work with I know is talented and a good person, and create the sort of environment that I would want to work in, and that I think other people want to work in, and do the kind of shows that I want to see. And so in 2013, I started sort of looking into it and meeting with some friends and saying, hey, would you be interested? And so I had a lot of friends who, helped out. We're a not-for-profit, so I formed a board. We did all that stuff. And then I don't have to drive. It's close to home for me. So I've spent a lot of time driving an hour or so to go and do theater. And so it's really lovely to have something right in my backyard and I'm now people drive to come and work with me, which I love. And one of the things I'm really proud of is that people tell me that Open Book is one of their favorite places to work. That it's a place where one of the things I think is very important is creating a safe space for the artists, because I think then the artists take bigger risks. If you know that your work is valued, if you know that if you make a mistake, that's okay, we're gonna fix it, we're gonna solve it, when you know it's safe to create, to have your input and share it, and that you won't be dismissed or mocked or whatever. And so I feel like we've really created a safe place for artists to work. And so we get professional artists from all over Southeast Michigan who come to work at Open Book because it's a place worth working. And then we have audience too that comes from all over, and that's bringing people into Downriver who say, well, I didn't know that these wonderful restaurants were here, and I didn't know these cute downtowns were here, and the gas prices are cheaper here. I often hear from people who are coming from other places. So I think I'm really proud of that. It didn't start as my dream to run a theater, but after years and years of working for other people, I decided it was time to create the place I wanted to work, and where I could do the work I wanted to do with the people I wanted to work with.
So how many people are basically in your group?
So we are not we're not a repertory company. We don't have a group of 10 actors that work with us every season. So every season it changes. I right now am the only employee.
Okay.
But then we hire artists on contracts for shows, and I would say each season it depends a little bit, because some shows have more actors than others. But every season, I would say we work with probably 40 to 50 professional artists that we hire in for the various shows.
Oh, you have to do an awful lot of research.
We do a lot of auditions. I see a lot of theater so that I can see the work of other artists. I also am a firm believer that art begets art. I don't want to exist in a vacuum. If you come and see a show at Open Book and love it, then the next weekend you're going to think, well, where can I see another show? And I want you to go see a show at Downriver Actors Guild or Southgate Community Players, or go up into the city and see something at Detroit Rep or Detroit Public, or get up into Ferndale and see Ringwald, or go out to Ann Arbor and see Theater Nova. And I see a ton of theater, and I want everybody to see a ton of theater. And then, I go to art museums and art shows, and all of that I think feeds what we do, and it's inspiring and fun. And
this sort of clips back. I know it's going a little bit out, but art. Like last week, I mentioned to the person, art comes in many forms, in many stages, and even though I knew you were going to be on, Neil from our group ended up going to River's Edge Gallery because they had a beach party.
Yes, and Pat and Jeremy at River's Edge are fantastic people and huge, I mean, they're artists themselves and they're huge supporters of the whole art community.
And so, he grabbed a couple of them. He was there. He got some of the paintings on the wall, and like you've been there, you have an idea how big they're. Yep. Yeah. So this was their second beach party, and I think they're looking forward already to next year. It's a time of year when, hey, you can put your feet in the sand if you want, and pretend you're out there for this nice cold weather we had. You can pretend, right? You can say, hey, let's think we're out there. But they have an awful lot of art, and like you mentioned about Pat and Jeremy, Jeremy's got a program in our system here now with Gooder, and Pat, if we get her on, she can talk too, because she's got so many different commissions she's been on, or she's familiar with what's going on in the city. And that's what happens, art in many forms.
Exactly. We did a play, actually, in our second season, we did a play called Bauer, which is about a painter, Rudolf Bauer, and the lovely folks at River's Edge Gallery. We actually held our opening night party with them.
You did? Yeah.
And it was such a neat, and Jeremy and Tony donated some art that we raffled off as a fundraiser. I mean, they are fantastic, fantastic people, and what a gift it is for us to have that gallery right here.
And everybody's, hey, we got to have more people come to see you. I would like to come to see you.
Well, anytime you come as my guest, I'd love to have you.
Oh, all right. So what do you have planned outside of what's being played now? Anything in the future?
So this show, like I said, closes on the 11th of February. And then the next show I'm actually directing. I'm really excited about it. I've reached out to my actors today and said, I'm getting excited for our first rehearsal. We're doing a play called The 39 Steps, which many people know as a Hitchcock film. It was a book before that.
Okay.
But the play is done with 4 actors. And so there's one actor who plays Richard Hannay, the main character, and then there's 3 other actors who play every other part. And so they're quickly changing costumes and hats, and they're running around, and it's a murder mystery. So it's this sort of madcap murder mystery. If you've seen, I had actually never seen the Hitchcock film. I just watched it for the first time a few weeks ago. Many of the scenes are almost word for word what's happening, except we've got these actors changing in and out of what's going on, and we have some of the
You have somebody in
best
a background
performers.
ready to change clothes?
Well, no, these 4 people
They do them
will
themselves?
They will do it themselves. They will be changing things, will be moving pieces around the set, and set pieces are going to be turning into other set pieces, and it's going to all happen right. Scenes change like this, and the characters change, and it's very fun. It's a little Keystone Cop, madcap with people moving around, but also a really fascinating. It's literally a murder mystery story. So somebody dies in the beginning, and then you try to find out whose, and there's a secret society, and it's very fun. And we have one new actor I've never worked with who will be in it, and the other 3 have worked with us before, and so I'm very excited to bring this group together, and it's going to be amazing.
Okay, after rehearsal,
yes.
When are they going to be shown?
It opens March, I think it's the 15th. It's a Friday. March 15th, and then that one's going to run for 5 weekends because I know that's going to be a popular show.
Okay.
So that one's going to run a little longer, and it'll be a lot of fun.
And you got somebody that's willing to, they're going to go nuts trying to figure out, okay, I'm this one. All right, what do I...
That's part of the fun. So like I said, there's 3 actors that do that. There's one woman, and she plays, I think it's 3 parts. And then the 2 men between them play, it's got to be 50 parts. I mean, they're constantly changing. And those 2 actors are actors I've worked with before, Jonathan Davidson and Richard Payton. And they are known throughout the Michigan community as fantastic performers, really great. They'll put on a character and take it off in no time. Like they'll change their voice, they'll change how they stand, they'll change how they move. You will know who they are, and you will laugh the entire time.
I can't wait to see. As soon as I hired them, they're, in the script they're called clowns. These
Okay.
two characters that go in and out. And as soon as I realized that John and Richard were going to be my clowns, I'm just going to sit back and let them do their thing. They are going to make my job as a director very easy, and that's the kind of performer you want.
Well, where are they from?
They both, one of them lives in Detroit and the other one lives up in, I think he's Royal Oak, but they're,
Royal Oak?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, best thing to do is flip on the screen again.
Yeah.
Where's the best way?
Openbooktheatercompany.com and click on that buy tickets, or you can read all about our company and read about the different shows we have coming up. And come check us out. Tickets, they're so reasonable. It's $30 for an adult, $25 for a senior, $15 for a student. And I mean, I went to the movies the other day and I bought popcorn. I spent more than that, you know? so come on out and enjoy live local theater.
So what do you do at home when you're not doing theater?
How do I relax?
Yeah.
I love to read. I do jigsaw puzzles. I love jigsaw puzzles. You were talking about beach earlier. I'm not going to go to the beach today, but in the summer I go down. Oh, I love to go to the beach at Lake Sterling State Park. I go down.
Okay.
I love to put my feet in the sand. So I love to go out dancing.
Okay.
So those are my sort of ways to when I am
To
not
relax and
doing
unwind.
theater. Yeah. I love a jigsaw puzzle, putting all those pieces together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you keep it on the side and open, so every so often you go and
When sometimes I'll have one going for a while, or sometimes I will just a 500 piecer I'll do in a night. I'll just sit
Really?
down and put it out and spend several hours and just get it. Yeah.
how about that?
So that's one of my ways to relax. I can't do that all the time, but yeah. if it's 1,000 piece or bigger, I've got to, then it sits
That's a
out on a
different
table.
story.
And I hope that my cat doesn't run off with a piece, because my cat will run off with a piece. So I have to sort of protect it. But
Hey, you got to keep us posted, okay?
I will do that. Thank you so much for having me on here.
Hey.
I, as you can tell, I hate talking about it. I'm not excited about it at all.
Ooh. Hey, before we run out of time, my daughter picked this up for me, and we got to hope and pray
That's right.
that, hey, the Lions.
That's right. One pride. Go
Yeah,
Lions.
one more. Are you a football fan or?
I'm not, actually. I can enjoy football. I'm thrilled that they're winning. It's really fun to be here while that's happening. But football is, I'd rather be at the theater.
Well, hey, that's your thing.
It's my thing. But I love that anything that get people excited about. So I am a supporter of the Lions, even if I don't watch them.
Okay, all right. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Okay. And hey, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Up, Down, and Around Town. Bye now. Okay.